My girlfriend, 31F of 3 years, cheated on me, 35 me, last night. She blamed it on being blackout drunk. How do I forgive my soulmate and move on? So my relationship is complex, to say the least. We just had our 3-year anniversary while she was away on a month-long work training trip. I was saddened a bit by this because I went way out of my way to send her a gift package, complete with flowers and a 2-page love note. Not only did she not send me anything, she made alternative plans on the day and went with friends to do an activity. She chose to go tanning before the event instead of going to pick up the package that I put so much love into. Fast forward a couple weeks. It is the last night she's gone, and boy, am I excited she's coming home to me the next day. I spoke to her just before the dinner party, and she promised me she would call as soon as she could, which I thought it was weird to need to promise that, but didn't think anything of it. She never called, and I am worried sick all night, anxious as ever, and just have a terrible gut feeling. I had a dream that she slept with someone else that night. I wake up and see a text from her saying sorry that her phone had died, and that was why she didn't reach out. Few messages later, she tells me she has something to talk to me about when she gets home, and my heart sinks. I call her and ask what is going on and explain that I am really worried. I ask if something happened, and she says yes. I plead with her to tell me, but she won't. I ask if she went out with someone, and she says yes. We both break down, and she tells me that she got so blackout drunk she barely remembers it. She does remember that they had sex, and she remembers kissing him and him kissing her neck. My heart is just torn to bits. All I can think of is just terrible thoughts. My 26F fiance, 27 Mim, admitted he has feelings towards one of my best friends. He's been nasty since then. What do? TDLR at the bottom. Throwaway, me and my fiance have been together coming up 7 years. We've had our ups and downs, but ultimately felt that we were meant for each other. A few weeks back, I met with one of my best friends, Meg, and we had an evening drinking. Both me and fiance met her at the same time through mutual friends around 3 years ago, but her and I both became close. I must say she's stunning, outgoing personality, and all the guys and even some girls in our group have a thing for her. We always have a good night out, and my partner offered to come collect us when we were done. He's never expressed having a thing for her and never showed interest. He didn't want to come out, so offered us a lift home. Now this is where my memory gets fuzzy, as there was a bit of drink involved from me. Somehow he comes to collect us. I honestly don't know how, but he ends up taking her home without me in the car. She's on our way home, so I honestly don't know. The following Friday, most of the group, 3 guys, 3 girls, including me and my fiance, go out for the evening via train. Not much drink was actually involved. A lot of fun and the occasional drink. On the train ride back, we split into 2 groups. Me, another guy and girl on one carriage, then my fiance, Meg, and another guy on another one. By the time we get to our stop, we all get off. We notice my fiance basically bolting it out of there. The last 3 of us, Meg and another guy, waited for the other 2 to get into their taxis as the rest of us were walking distance. I asked Meg, where did my fiance go? She mentioned that he had cuddled up to her on the train, hand on her thigh, then suddenly bolted onto another carriage then, when arriving at the station, walked away. She doesn't know. Right, okay? Me, Meg, and the other guy friend that will often stay at ours after a night out started walking home. We took Meg home as she's on the way to mine. Got to the house and fiance still wasn't there as we presumed he walked home. We panicked. We thought he had the key to get in and walked straight back to Meg's. I called her on the way explaining the situation and that I was desperate for a wee. Needed to stop off, take a wee, then the guy friend would drive us back to mine as his car was at Meg's. I asked if she heard anything from my fiance and she had no clue. We were so panicked. Got there. I had a wee, then we drove back to mine, where fiance was waiting at the doorstep. Turns out, he had actually gone to Meg's during the time me and guy friend dropped her off, and when I had actually called her, fiance was there. Apparently, she told him to get out knowing I was coming to use the loo. This is what fiance has told me. According to fiance, he went to tell her that they can't be friends anymore and feels guilty getting too close to her. I was super confused. Like nothing that I knew of has happened between them. Kinda just let it drop that night as we didn't get back until like 2 a.m. The next morning, I get a call from Meg. She was crying over the phone as I messaged her that previous evening when we found my fiance at the doorstep, and he said he'd been there. I messaged her saying, "We found fiance, and he said he was at yours." She was in tears, saying he'd come over to say they can't be friends anymore, and she said her loyalties should have been with me, not him. Should have said he was there. I asked fiance about this the next morning. He mentioned that previous Friday me and Meg went out like I said before. The Friday night that somehow they were alone in the car. He admitted to telling her he finds her very attractive. They got cuddly, etc. in the car. But he told her they can't be friends anymore when he went round this recent night after the train station when I lost him and I forgave him. I was glad he could step away from her before it got too far. However, the next few days were hell. I didn't mention it, but he would still scream and shout at me for no reason whatsoever. That Saturday after the group night out, we had to go to his parents for a family gathering. On the way home, we exploded. I finally lost my temper. And when he compared me getting sexually assaulted to him confessing his feelings for another girl, I slammed on the brakes while driving, which he has done plenty of times when we argue in the car. He screams at me, punches my arm. I swerve onto oncoming traffic nearly in the ditch. I didn't talk to him for a few days. After a couple evenings of not talking, I asked for full honesty of that evening they were in the car alone. He basically said that he told her wants her but can't have her. They cuddled, he kissed her, he kissed his cheek. I'm broken. I've hardly said a word to him. He's been super nice since then. No shouting like last time he confessed his feelings towards her. Why was he horrible to me about it, constantly playing the victim? Why now is he being nice? I feel like we've been together too long to break up. I'm at a loss. All self-confidence has been destroyed. I can't even blame him. She's stunning. I don't know what to do anymore. The fact he cut all contact with her makes me feel better. TDLR, fiance admitted he's attracted to one of my best friends to her directly and wants to be with her but can't because of me. He's cut contact with her, but being nasty towards me about it. I 36 manos want an equal prenup with my girlfriend 32F. I 36 manos want an equal prenup with my girlfriend 32F. I, 36 manos, have been discussing our future with my girlfriend 32F about marriage and family. We've been together just under 2 years and we have no children together, living together for a year. She frequently brings up children as I know. She wants them and marriage, which I would like as well. However, she has her own savings in the form of an apartment which she would like to protect via a prenup before we would ever get married. I have very little compared to her asset-wise. Although I dislike personally a prenup, I completely understand and am not against the idea. However, she has made it clear that her intentions after we get married is to stay at home with any children and not work again. Ideally, never again. I, however, would of course be. Furthermore, I would be on a higher salary than her upon working after we get married in any setting. Thus, I would want a prenup to protect any future earnings that exceed what she would be bringing into the relationship. Even if she did return to work at some stage, her earnings would be below mine. She, however, believes that everything should be equal upon marriage, aside from her asset, which she gained prior. I don't believe this is fair, and that in the future I'll have more assets than she does. She frequently refers to money and should and discussion go against what she wants. Money and finances is her first point of call. When trying to have a discussion about this, she has made comments like, "We can't agree on a future together. Don't bother saving for a ring," and even going as far to say I'm gaslighting her. All I want is for an equal and fair relationship. She says she doesn't see an option for us to be happy together anymore. I understand that she wants to protect her asset, and she is more than entitled to do so. But if I want to do the same, Aita, if we don't find a solution, Which feels like to me if I don't outright agree to everything she says, then there's hope for a future together. Edit. To be clear, I would still be covering the majority of all bills: rent, mortgage, food, etc. I will also likely be doing any cooking, I love to cook, and helping out with cleaning, etc. The money I'm referring to as my own personal asset would be after all bills are paid and covered. To be clear, her intention is to stay at home and give up working, children or otherwise. It's not that she would be giving up her profession to stay at home because I don't want to. If she did want to return, it'd continue working. I would also have no issue with that, and yes, we would be well able to afford childcare costs. TL, Doctor. Girlfriend wants a prenup to protect her apartment she owns, and I want one to protect my future earnings, though I would probably be happier if we didn't have one at all. How weird would it be if I, F29, gave a new solo baby my ex-M27 husband's last name? I posted a few days with a bunch of drama. My now ex-fiance got me pregnant and blocked me on everything. He had a vasectomy and I had my IUD removed. We proceeded and I got pregnant. He tried to force me to have an abortion the last few days, but when I refused, he blocked me. Good riddance. I don't know the quality of his vasectomy. I only know what he told me. I am going forward with the pregnancy on my own. I am divorced, have a child from a previous marriage, and I kept my ex-husband's last name. Our child had that name, so I just didn't change it. Now I've got this new baby coming, but the last name isn't originally mine. The father is obviously not going to be involved. Would it be crazy for me to give the baby another man's last name? I don't really want to go back to my maiden name because my dad was uninvolved too. Ages ago, I asked my ex-husband if I could have a baby alone and give it his name, and he said it was fine. I said it as a kind of joke, but now it seems like some cruel irony. I don't know how he would feel now. Thoughts. I also don't know how my ex's future spouses or girlfriends would feel about it. Please do not encourage me to get an abortion because I've already decided to keep the baby. I have no problems providing for the child, and I'm already emotionally attached.